So here we go. You're gonna take it up another notch because you're gonna fire a shot in person, VG.
Oh,
Coming
Lord,
from the
here we go.
torch. I know you didn't read the sheets, but here, this is what the torch said. BG James, Kip James, Jeremy Borash, and Vince Russo visited a WWE house show last Friday in Knoxville, Tennessee. As fans were entering the arena, they goofed off, handed out flyers, and interviewed some fans. When one fan said they just bought a ticket and it was third row, BG interviewed him and made issues of the low ticket sales. TNA's website has a story that BG and Kip purchased tickets to the show and and brought their cease and desist papers into the arena for Triple H to sign on behalf of DX. During that main event, Triple H waved at BG and Kip, but of course didn't sign the papers. BG encouraged DX to come to Orlando, Florida for a live event where Triple H could sign the papers in person. Said BG on TNA's website, unfortunately, our attempts to serve Levesque were unsuccessful. We also noticed many of the fans' attempts to stay awake during the main event were also unsuccessful. The good news is the fat, oily guy was nowhere to be seen. At least the great fans in this city of Knoxville, Tennessee were spared that suffering tonight.
Amen.
That's funny stuff,
I
man.
still believe that.
I mean,
That fat oily guy.
you, you're tough, you're confident, you're on drugs, so you're probably a little bit overconfident. But is this a little bit intimidating and scary to actually put this plan into motion? It's often credited online in the internet wrestling community that VKM, the Voodoo Kin Mafia, was one of the top 5 worst storylines in TNA history. Do you feel that way?
I don't know. I mean, I look, I agree with you. It wasn't the hottest thing since, the pipe bomb promo or, I mean, I understand what you're saying and what all the critics are saying. But like, really? I could probably go through there and find some that weren't as good as segments as those. Like maybe the program didn't work and it was a waste of time and all of that stuff, but it was still 5 minutes of entertainment on the show, I think.
So was
Look,
it
I may be biased, and I don't mind saying that I am, but some of the promo work on there was good, and I'm not gonna say otherwise because you didn't you're not you, Ryan, but
yeah.
because some people didn't think it was any good. Like, okay, that's cool. You have your right to believe whatever you believe, and I don't just totally disagree with them. Like, I don't think it was a very smart deal to plan it all and then it go nowhere, and you just have to cut bait. You know what I mean? And so it was kind of like we were going to do that from the get go. So I don't know why you don't just take it for what it's worth and go like, okay, yeah, whatever. It was a wrestling angle. It didn't pan out.
So
It's not a first.
was it frustrating to you to do all that work and then have WWE never acknowledge it? So would you have wanted that acknowledgement from WWE that you guys were doing something that was bothering them?
Yeah, of course, because we were doing it to bother them. You know what I mean? So of course we wanted the satisfaction of knowing it was bothering them, and it wasn't. And now I look back and I go, yeah, it shouldn't have. You know what I mean? But at the time, I wanted to scream louder and make them look at me.